Welcome back. Can we get, can the registrar call the witness back? Thank you. Welcome, Mr. TRAWALLY. The council, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. TRAWALLY, I will refer you to the audit report and financial management letter, audit of Banjul City Council for the year ended 31st December 2019 and 2020. Chairperson, for the record, this is Exhibit ARBCC 001.
Okay.
And also, you were meant to provide the management letter for BCC for the periods 2017-2018, I believe.
Yes.
Do you have that?
Yes.
Can I, Mr. Registrar?
Witness, point of order here, witness. Just to remind you that you are still under order. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. TRAWALLY, this is the final management letter, audit performed for the period 1st October 2017 to 31st December 2018 for Banjul City Council.
Yes.
And it was signed by you.
Yeah.
Chairperson, I'll apply to tender the management letter produced by the witness.
Very well, Council.
Thank you.
The management letter audit performed for the period 1st October 2017 to the 31st of December 2018 with reference number HC 93/474/01 Part 4 Volume 6 is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as BCC 002.
As the commission, please. I'm grateful. Now, Mr. TRAWALLY,
Yes.
for the report ending for the year ended December 2019, you gave a disclaimer of opinion,
Yes.
and you have set out the basis for these disclaimers.
Yes.
So can you please take us through the basis for your disclaimer of opinion?
All right. Thank you. The basis for disclaimer of opinion, as it's on page. Let me just go to that. Let me just go there. Yeah. Disclaimer of opinion. This is the audit of the Banjul City Council on the financial statement of the Banjul City Council for the year ended 31st December 2019. Disclaimer of opinion, just as I have mentioned in the first sitting. That means we haven't expressed an opinion on the financial statement. We can't say whether it's true and fair. And the reason for that is what we call basis for disclaimer of opinion. One, The cash book, which is the primary entry of the City Council financial transaction, the double entry principle was not applied in recording and balancing of the cash book. The balancing of the cash book at the end of the year was on the credit side of the cash book only and carried forward to the next year on the credit side. This has resulted to improper performance of monthly bank reconciliation statement, maintenance of a proper abstract book and ledgers. Therefore, we could not confirm the correctness and timely recording and classification of figures recognized in the financial statement, because the financial statement, the cash book is among the source document that you use to prepare your financial statement. Two, on presented GTR, the council did not provide 4 GTRs for audit inspection. We could not establish how much was collected and banked, the type of revenue collected, and whether they were recorded and recognized in the monies collected and in the cash book and financial statement respectively. Please note that GTR carry higher risk than ticket because it can be used to collect any amount. So it's like there were 4 GTRs that were not submitted to the auditors. So auditors don't know, because GTR can collect any amount. It doesn't mean that a GTR is 500 or this, it can collect any amount. So 4 GTRs, if that's not submitted, auditors doesn't know, the amount used, that GTR, the amount it's used, collected from that GTR. So debtors and creditors ledgers, well, this is as these things has changed. We call them receivables and payables, but we auditing based on their manual. They are still using the debtors and creditors, so that's why we are mentioning it like that, debtors and creditors ledger. The City Council did not maintain individual debtors and creditors ledger to record loan issued and received, repayment amount and balance at a given period. In the absence of these individual ledgers, we could not determine the correctness, timely recording and classification of the debtors and creditors figures as receivable, advance, and bank loans and overdraft. This is the individual accounts of the people owing the councils and those that council is owing, and this is from their manual. That list was not provided to us, so based on that, we were not able to confirm. And then the key audit matters. These things doesn't have any impact on your opinion, but these are critical issues that is important that you've come across during the audit. It's important for stakeholders to know some of the things that happen during the audit so that they can, as part of being the decision makers, they can at least advise the management to improve on those things. That's the accounting policy. There were no accounting policy reported for the treatment and recognition of the revenue and expenditure items on the financial statement. And initially there was uncertainty for the treatment and accounting of transactions and events for the preparation of the financial statement. We refer to the Finance and Accounting Manual for Local Authorities, Chapter 9, which describes the basis used for revenue and expenditure to carry out the audit of the finance of the City Council. Presentation of financial statement. The financial statement were not prepared in line with the format prescribed by the Finance and Accounting Manual for Local Government Authorities, Chapter 9. This remained the same up to the time of completion of this report. This shows non-compliance with the manual and might lead to inconsistency in the presentation of the financial statement. 3, adjustments of financial record. The City Council did not show the willingness to make adjustments of its financial record as recommended in the management letter. This was brought to the attention of management during our exit meeting, but few adjustments were made in the cash book, which was incomplete and not as per requirement of the Financial and Accounting Manual for the government. In order for the City Council to prepare and present credible financial statement, there is the need for proper financial record. Providing of records or information was a challenge. There was significant delay in providing records for the audit. Some of the records were provided after the draft management letter was issued. Council should not note that non-provision of documents will be used as basis in issuing opinion to the financial statement. So far, these were the reasons that gave rise to the auditors to express a disclaimer of opinion.
Thank you.
If I may comment at this point, you've said that some GTR's receipt books issued to collectors were found to be not authentic. What do you mean by that?
Did I say were found not to be authentic? No? Well, let me go back.
Maybe, yes.
Let me go. Basis of opinion. Yes, I said, let me go. On presented GTR, the council did not provide 4 GTRs for audit inspection. We could not establish how much was collected and banked, the type of revenue collected, and whether they recorded the money collected in the cash book and finances respectively. Please note that GTR carry higher risks than tickets. During the time that they were not presented to us, we've seen that in their register book where you record this, and they were issued, but during the audit they were not submitted. So the audit team is saying, because GTR can collect any amount, so we don't know how much was that GTR used to collect, and whether the money collected has been banked, has been. So this is among the reasons why we cannot express an opinion. It's among the reasons highlighted why we are not able to express an opinion. Maybe these GTRs were later, after the conclusion of the audit, when we are reporting at the National Assembly, that was the time these GTRs were later brought to us at the National Assembly. But that was during the discussion of the by the finance director, I think through the instruction of the mayoress. Yeah.
Yes. Can you tell us who are responsible for providing these GTRs? Is it the council itself, or are they supposed to procure them from specific institutions?
No, you know, here the GTRs, these are printed by printing department, but it's not from, it's not about where they got from, but these are GTRs supplied, used by the revenue collectors, but they were not submitted to audits for verification. So, yeah.
So my question is, if you know, please tell us, in this circumstance, because these are public institutions, you
Yes.
are the auditor, you are from the Auditor General's office.
Yes.
So my question is, these GTRs, do you know who is supposed to provide them for the councils? Are they mandated to provide it themselves, or they are supposed to source them from specific institutions?
GTRs should be sourced from printing, Gambia Printing.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Council, can you proceed?
Thank you. Mr. Trawally, there are notes to the financial statements for 2019, and I believe they comment at page 13, or they're, yes. Who provides this? Is it the council?
Yes, because you know the financial statement is the responsibility of the management of the council to provide the financial statement, and then the financial statement goes with the note. Because if you said trade lancing, there should be a note to explain the figures in trade lancing 10 million. You should explain to the readers, this consists of this, and we got the trade lancing from this. So that's why the readers, an independent person, you will just read, you see the figure, and the notes will explain what it is all about.
Okay. At note 1, I believe this is page 16 of the report, they have stated that they received admin revenue of $10,310,054 butoots. Can you tell us what this revenue is said
Note
to
1.
be? Pardon?
That's on page?
I believe page 16. Let me just confirm.
Note 1. Okay, admin
Note
revenue
1.
10,310,000. Okay. This one, they just saying the revenue. This is revenue derived from indicated revenue lines categorized as admin revenue, not static and not based on any register. These revenue lines consist of the following: categories: interest on investment and rental income, ice plant daily sales, hire of funeral van, miscellaneous partnership with Standard Chartered Bank. So they said the revenue they got from those revenue line is what they are explaining, the income and expenditure. So if maybe they still went further. This is realized from the lease of the Tambi wetland area to Salt Intertrade Company Limited. So they just explaining the revenue, where they collect these revenues from, and then giving the details. This just to support the figures in the financial statement.
Okay, and do they provide perhaps the agreements in respect of these rental incomes for you to verify?
Whether they've provided an agreement?
During the course of the audit, do they provide, so for say A, where most of the funds come from rental agreements, do they provide you with the agreement so that you can verify the income that is being collected with?
If it was not provided, and then maybe the audit team had in verifying this figure, if they had an issue, it will come as part of the basis for opinion, and it will also be flagged in the management letter.
Okay. They have stated a note 2, that they received trade license of 40,718,650.
Note 2.
Yes,
okay.
Note 2. We were just talking about the
whether
the councils provide a scale of fees or the scale of the license fees that they collect, because you're talking about you need the fees to be able to know what is the expected revenue in the budget, etc.
Yeah.
So were you able to verify the basis of the trade license fees in that regard?
Yeah, this one is the actual revenue collected. You know, that one was an estimate. When they said areas of this, I was like, how do you know? That has to do with the estimate. But this is the actual, because this is the income and expenditure. So this is the actual collected. This is the actual, like 40,718,650. So they are just explaining where they collected it from, and then, so the auditors will just confirm the authenticity of these figures. If there is any issue, then they will flag it as basis of opinion and in the management letter.
Okay. They have stated that they have a comprehensive register that has been kept detailing all the business entities in Banjul, indicating the address, category, amount payable, and status.
Yes, that is possible, because I didn't see any query that they don't have a comprehensive register. Maybe by looking at the nature of Banjul, it could be easier. Maybe to know the businesses, and because it's small, and then compared to other regions. So maybe that's why it has not been flagged here.
In note 3, they have stated partial cost recovery of 1,393,737 and 50 bututs. Can you tell us what this is about?
Yes, according to their notes, because this is their note. This is the figures they are just explaining. The figures they are just explaining. So the partial cost recovery is a monthly fee levied from business entities and institutions for the service of waste collection as a contribution towards mobilization of resources required for the service. Partial cost recovery collection is done by revenue collectors, and payment made directly to the cashier by institution or paid to bank account directly transferred by bank. Having engaged the service of 5 collectors, a total of 968,450 was collected, in supplement to the receipt of 72,000 from 4 entities, banks, on direct credit to the bank account on a total of 353,287. Received by the cashier. Analysis of the total collection is shown in the table below. So this is a revenue line, partial cost recovery. So how they got that money, that's what they are explaining in this note.
They have stated that for markets, they collected 9,762,705
Mhm.
and this is made up of market daily fees, market monthly canteen rent,
Mhm.
warehouse rentals, feast sales
Sales.
allocation.
Yes. Yeah, that's another. They are all revenue, but they are just trying to
Explain.
categorize them so that the auditors will know, okay, market, this is what comes from market, this. So auditors will use this note to do their verification. And if they have any issue, then they flag it out.
And rates and taxes at note 5,
Yeah.
another 9,287,570 dollars, 63 butut.
Yeah.
And this is made
Government
up of
rate.
government rates,
Yeah.
current rates,
Current
and
rate
rates,
and rates
areas.
collected, yes.
So would this be the same situation as for the areas?
Yes.
Or because it's already collected?
Yes, they have collected it, but still now there will be balance of rate because no council can collect all the rates. So, but we do our audit recommendations, so they will still be pursuing the the previous rates, and any amount collected, you have to report it, and then it will reduce the total rates areas for the period.
Okay. They have stated that they collected car park fees of $3,794,786.88 butut.
Yes. Under the domain of the council until 2007, when it was merged to the police annual lancing and road tax levy, this and subsequently to GRA, it has been a daily revenue collection from commercial vehicles plying the city and has over the years formed a significant part of the council's daily revenue. Council now depend on allocation from finance on pro rata basis, but without the involvement of the council to determine a specific appropriate method. Indicated are the only amount received in March and August of 2019 of 1,975,227 and 1,819,559 respectively as allocated to council from finance for the year 2019, being equal portion to all councils. If the 207 base year allocate is they're just saying car park fee, they are not collecting it now, but I think the other agencies are collecting it and then they will share the money collected. So this is their amount they receive from the car park fee for the period. That's what they are explaining in the note.
Note 8 deals with personnel emoluments, and they have stated that they spent $26,620,954.19 bututs on personal emoluments. And this makes up, or this consumed 32.7% of their total revenue.
Yes, according to their notes, this is the expenditure now. Personal
Yes.
emoluments has to do with maybe the operating cost, the salaries and allowances, and the daily paid wages. So, yeah, that's the total paid on staff salary, allowance, and the daily paid and daily workers. Those on wages.
So they have stated that 19,223,295 and 59 bututs were for monthly staff salaries, including designated allowances for each category of staff, and allowances, transport and responsibility, risk and other allowances. And it also factored in the 50% increment of salary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're just trying to report the amount spent on personal emoluments and then the changes for the period.
And I believe $3,172,460 were allowances to the mayor and councillors, including sitting allowances.
Yeah.
There were admin expenses of $16,300,241 and 69 bututs, which they say is expenditure incurred for the day-to-day management and running of the council.
Yeah. That's the according to the notes, yes. On utility, operational costs, the day-to-day, the operational printing,
Travel costs.
entertainment, yes.
Cleansing services, 6,516,166, and this is also an expenditure,
Yes.
and it relates to the running and upkeep of the cleansing services.
Yeah.
Now, note 12 says social services, 1,540,227 dollars and 51 bututs. And they're saying that this expenditure relates to spending on national, social, religious, and welfare events taking place under the auspices of the council. These are payments effected towards national events, women empowerment, religious activities, and condolences as part of the social services undertaken by the council.
Yeah.
Do they provide any proof or any documents to substantiate these?
Yes, because here
payments?
they're just explaining, they're just saying this is what has been spent on that. So now if auditors has any issue with this, it will be in the detailed management letter. Because this is just a cover-up, this is just to explain the figures also. So if auditors has any observation, then everything will be explained in the detailed findings. Yeah.
We had a previous witness who brought up the issue of, I believe, about $9 million that were spent on religious matters for this city council. Are you aware of that?
It is, I don't know, might depend on the scope, because this is 2019. So don't know when that happened.
Yes.
So if we are aware of that, personally I don't, because I don't want to personalize this report.
Yes.
If the,
But I mean, in the context of your
okay, no, yeah, that's
Yes,
fine.
of your work.
Yeah, I can't remember if it happened or if the auditors come across it. It will be in the report. Maybe the heading might change, but it might be captured. So when we get into the details, I'll be able to know whether they are this thing has captured it. But the period also, because if this happens in 2022 or 2020, our audit stops at 2020 for BCC. So we are going for the 2021 and 2022.
Okay. They, at note 15, they have stated that they have development expenditure, or they've incurred development expenditure of $26,565,786 and 93 bututs. Can you just take us through that?
Note 15.
Yes.
They said this line item cater for capital expenditure, spending on infrastructure and social development. It based on development expenditure budget projected at 75% direct revenue and funding and 25% government subvention. It is a requirement to allocate 60% of total revenue budget to development, out of which 25% should be anticipated from government as subvention. However, the total expenditure on capital development represents about 32.6% of total expenditure for a year from direct revenue and grant. 1,110,514.87 from Ostend and 500,000 from government as a grant in aid. As anticipated, government subvention is not forthcoming. Details are sent in snapshots and the activities undertaken during the year. So these are the details of their development expenditure. They are just trying to explain the amount spent on development expenditure, how it was spent, and then they are showing the details in the table. Payment to them by CHAM consultant in May as cost of, so I don't know, that's the list, whether you would like to go by the list one by one or whatever.
I know.
May I come in here?
Okay.
Yes, on the issue of, I think you've made mention of the cash book.
Yes.
If you take a look at page 16 of the management letter, what can you tell us with reference to the nature of the cash book and what is the effect of the way they have maintained the cash book.
Page 16, right?
Yes, of your management letter.
It will, let me, page 16 of the management letter. Then I have to go far. I'm trying to be there. Page 16, sorry. Improper maintenance of main cash book, right? Okay, according to the regulation 902 of the Financial and Accounting Manual for local government authorities state that the cash book is the main book of original entry, the council in which all the cash receipt and cash payment are recorded on a daily basis. Analyzed cash book is hereby required to fully analyze receipts and payments to various heads and subheads. All receipts of cash or check are recorded on the debit side, and all payments by cash or check are recorded on the credit side. You know, cash book, this is where all the revenue is divided, is divided into two, debit and credit. For non-accountants, I don't know how would explain debit and credit. The money received goes to the debit side, and then the payments done are recorded at the credit side. This is just to show, okay, this is, but if you are recording this, if tickets are issued to cashiers or collectors, they go to the market, collect whatever they have. When they come, they have to tender their receipt and the money collected. So cash book, on a daily basis, you need to record all this in the date, the receipt number. This was the receipt number I used to collect this amount. There will be a receipt number. The amount collected, you record them on the debit side. All the payments